she just went off screen. So, welcome everyone to the Awakening the Inner Authority, Stepping into Your True Power Wisdom Circle. And I am excited to be co-facilitating with Janaki on this beautiful wisdom circle. And we are going to be able to bring in some beautiful things with our speakers that are here, our guests that are here, to be able to share their wisdom and share their knowledge. And I really love the flow that the wisdom circles brings us. And I always get that mixed up because I have a program called Wisdom Cycles, so it always ties into that. And so, but it really is about being able to bring in that wisdom and able to bring it in within the circle. And what I love about tonight's panel is that we actually have 7 of us, which is a very beautiful sacred number that we get to bring in. So I'm going to start off with some introductions. So my name is Gigodo Migunkwe, which means Talking Feather Woman. And I'm also known as Rollie Allaire. I am in Northeastern Ontario, Canada, in a small community. And I have 2 beautiful grandchildren that I love and adore, that I get to spend on a daily basis. And I have 3 grandchildren that are heart grandchildren that I get to love and honor as I get to step in as a grandmother. And so we'll start with you, Sharon. Do you want to share a little bit about who you are, where you're from?
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me. My name is Sharon Vidano. I am here in Southern California. I'm about 30 minutes from Disneyland, so it's a lot of fun. I live with my wonderful husband and my 2 sons, and I am actually a retired criminal defense attorney turned transformational life coach. I help professional women achieve life fulfillment in their career as well as in their relationships. And I was able to do that as being a professional as well, knowing that sometimes you give up parts of your life for your career. And I am here to tell you that you can do both, and you can have meet that amazing husband that you've always wanted. So I've done it, and you can do it too.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Sallyann?
Hi, everybody. My name is Sallyann Joy. I'm from Elevating Consciousness. I'm in Australia, but I operate predominantly online. I do group sessions and one-on-one sessions and assist people to remember who they truly are beyond the physical body. So assist people to connect with the authenticity of who they truly are and stand in their power. And I'm just about to start light circles. That would be a group of gathering of like-minded people, totally free of charge, starting on the 6th of December, and they'll be fortnightly, 8 a.m. Sydney time on Saturday mornings. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks, Sallyann. And Lisa?
Hello, I'm Leisa Reid. I live in Southern California near Sharon in Orange County. I'm originally from Fairbanks, Alaska. So I decided about 30 some odd years ago, I decided I wanted to be in sunny weather on the regular. I have a daughter. She's getting ready to graduate with her master's degree, and I'm married. And professionally, I am the founder of Get Speaking Gigs Now and the CEO of the International Speaker Network. I work with business owners and entrepreneurs who have that deep calling, that deep, like seated, like I must share a very important message, and they want to do it through public speaking, whether it's virtual or in person. And so I want to support them in getting their message out there, making a bigger impact, and having a fulfilling way to attract their ideal clients so they don't feel like they have to chase clients.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Kim?
Hi, and thank you for having me. I am Kim. I'm from Wisconsin, so a little bit right north of everyone, or maybe right in between. I have been married for over 36 years, and I have a daughter of the same age, very successful, very proud of her. Professionally, I have transitioned from corporate as I had my own company for over 35 years doing transformation. I call myself the architect of strategic stillness, but what I do is I actually guide corporate executives and entrepreneurs who are in transition to build their lasting legacy even when they're gone.
Beautiful. Thank you. And when Denise is having some difficulty getting on, we actually see her beautiful face now, but there's no sound at this point for Denise. So we'll introduce Denise when she comes on for those of you who are watching. And so we'll move into Janaki. And can you add a little bit, Janaki, about like where do you think possibly that you will be bringing in some sound or some quantum healing? How do you think that this is going to kind of flow?
Yes, yes. So first, I am Janaki with Bhakti Light. I am a sound weaver, soul seer, and a quantum igniter. Love to ignite our God spark within one's heart, and it's the true remembrance of who we are, attuning to the vibrational frequency of our inner truth and clearing the distractions outside of you. And that's where our truth always is. And so I love serving as a muse, a mirror, a messenger, and a mentor. I say I bring the back in our lives and bring in the yumminess. And so one of the things that has become my mastery path is turning all of my perceived wounds into wisdoms and triggers into treasures. And one of the greatest ones is working with shame, transmuting shame into our sacred flame. So the paradigm of right, wrong, good, bad, not enough, too much, and broken, where we play small in those boxes and we hide ourselves. When we can allow ourselves to be our full, whole soul, the shame no longer exists. And so we can be our full, whole soul expression. And so that is one of the things I love supporting. So as I shared, I love being God's muse, channeling music. So I incorporate in all of my sessions sound. And because I find the fastest way to reprogram one's brain is sound repetition and play. And I have witnessed this time and time again. Recently, my husband almost died and he was in and out of the hospital. And he said what got him out of the hospital were the repetitions that I was singing in the I Am journeys. He said, I heard your voice, the repetition inside my head, and I was literally singing that into me, into my being. And he said, and that's what helped me get out of the hospital bed. And I've heard that time and time again, not hospital, but different life experiences. So receiving codes of being our full human self while being divinity embodied, because we're here to root and rise. So it's the both of simultaneously. So yeah, everything I facilitate is impromptu. It is in the moment of, and it is a pure channel of what comes through me at the moment. And so what I imagine is we'll all share, and then towards the end, we'll have an opportunity to play in the quantum playground, my favorite playground to play in. And because what I have a philosophy is the more we slow down, we actually speed up for the quantum frequency of love. It gives us the capacity because we're actually receiving versus trying to give into our outer. And the more the capacity of our giving is really the capacity of our receiving. So I love to support one and filling our cups back up.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Janaki. And so Denise is definitely having some difficulty with connection. So so Denise, if you want to continue with trying to come on, we're definitely okay with that, and we will bring you right in as soon as you're able to join us. Or if you want to step out, that's okay too. Whatever it is that you feel that you need to be doing, we will just go with that flow and just be within that energy. So so today, as I shared, the conversation that we're having is awakening the inner authority, stepping into our true power. So I want to start off with being able to just put the question out there. And so whoever it is that's ready to step in and share first is how have you stepped into your true power, or how have you been able to awaken that inner authority? So like, I think that's like a really amazing conversation. So Sallyann, I saw your hand go up first. So do you want to share?
Thank you very much for that, Rollie. For me, it's, well, I've done many things over the years, but I suppose the last 2 or 3 years, I became involved with the Institute for Quantum Consciousness, and through the training I did with them to become a facilitator, it gave me the opportunity to remember who I am and to connect with the true essence of me, with my soul, with my soul's wisdom. And I think with societal conditioning, we're taught to sort of be in boxes and play small and behave a certain way so we don't rock the boat. But this is not who we are at all. We are so much more than that. And so to be able to go out into that space, connect with other aspects of yourself, and bring forward that wisdom that is available to you that can support you through your life. That's what and I now help others do that. That's what we do through the Institute of Quantum Consciousness. And it is so empowering because all those beliefs, all that conditioning, it just disappears. It's all gone because your soul essence, you connect to that and who you really are. And when you're able to do that and allow you to guide, that incredible wisdom can come through. Thank you so very much.
Beautiful. Thanks, Sallyann. So Kim or Sharon, I know that you guys have come from like that corporate world. So like, how did you guys go from that corporate to like where you guys are now? Kim?
Yeah, so I have a little story. I retired about, I don't know, 4 years ago. And then I said, okay, and I'm certified yoga instructor where I can actually teach yogis to be yogis. And I reached out to a hot yoga studio and taught there. Said, I'm going to teach one class just to do something different, the extreme. And it was during COVID, and one class led to another class to a full-time schedule. And I was teaching for 2 years. And at that 2-year mark, I said, okay, this is becoming work again. So I stopped teaching yoga, and I was sitting on my deck one day, and I said, okay, my husband is, fine. He's retired and on his way. My daughter's responsible and doing her thing. I've run 50 half marathons in 50 states, done my Ironman, done all those things around whatever I wanted to do on that. And there's always something on a bucket list. I said, okay, you can take me now. And what happened was usually there's always like this little whisper in my ear that said, Kim, you're not done yet. You learned what you did your entire life to do what you are to do today. And that is, to make an impact. And the visual that I got from that was that there's a cave, and I was to take people out of the dark cave and wake them up. And that's what I knew at the time. And from that, 2 years in the journey, people just showed up and taught me things. I just, I mean, I call it crazy, right? But it wasn't, but it was, but I was open to it. And so I have written over 55 books now. And the most recent series is called The Human Operators, and it's Human OS. And in it, it's very logically speaking of the more untangible things that many people talk about so that the logical from corporate can understand it. So that's my journey. And I'm sitting in the space today teaching corporate executives who are in transition or are already retired and helping them build their legacy from that.
Beautiful. Thanks. And Sharon, what about you?
Yes, well, I had been in and out of the legal field for about 17 years. And I always felt it was something that I could fall back on because that's what I did. I trained, I went to school, I passed the bar, and I was in and out because it wasn't what I really loved, but I was really good at it. And I kept doing it. And I don't get me wrong, I liked it when I was there and I was 1000% in. I represented my clients. But it was not like in my soul. And I always envied the Nordstrom piano player because I'm like, what a cool job that is. I'm like, I want to do that. But it wasn't until when I was an attorney, and then I ended up actually getting a divorce from my former husband. And I went and I actually hired a coach. And I hired a coach so that I could date better because dating is quite the jungle out there. And I hired a coach and I went through this program. And in my quest to find a man, I actually grew closer to God and found myself. And then I found my amazing husband. And then I grew and expanded. I was like, oh, I can really be fulfilled in all aspects of my life. And then that's when I shifted my perception about how I was in the courtroom, and I was fulfilled in the courtroom. And I loved that job at that point. But then it started to not be for me anymore. And the more I ascended and grew in awareness, I knew I had to make a larger impact out there, not just in the courtroom. And then I retired, and now I do this full time. And I love helping ladies, especially professional ladies, try to meet the love of their lives. So that's how I grew and expanded out of all of this.
Beautiful. I love that story, Sharon. What about you, Leisa?
For me, I can really relate to what Sharon was just talking about in searching for that thing that fulfills me. I remember when I was in high school deciding my major for college, I thought, well, I'll be a business major because one day I want to own my own business. But I didn't really know what it was. There wasn't anything like pulling me. And I soon realized the first week of college that that was the wrong major for me. Especially after I took an accounting class for 2 weeks, that was definitely not anything I was going to be passing. So I changed my major to speech communication, not realizing that I was going to be there wasn't like a speech communicator job, but I did various things throughout my career. I worked for big corporations. I worked for family-owned businesses. I worked for myself. I opened up a day spa. So we had real estate investment. So I've done a lot of different things, franchising, all kinds of different businesses. And I call it the silver medal effect. Like Sharon was saying, like I was fulfilled doing all these things. Every time I worked somewhere, had a company, I was madly in love with it. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't quite the gold medal. It was just like, but it was really good. Like it was a silver medal. So what can I complain about, right? And then when I started this company, Get Speaking Gigs, now in 2017, it was like, oh, okay, now I see why all these dominoes were set up. And I had people tell me over the years, like, you should help people with speaking, because I had the speaker network anyway. I was doing it for free. I was doing it like out of the love of my heart. I didn't really realize that I had something magical, special to give people. And I had my first year as a speaker back in 2013. I booked 83 speaking engagements, just doing my thing. I'm like, they told me to go speak, so I'm going to go do it. And people are like, what are you, how did you do that? Kind of like when Kim said she did 50 marathons. I'm like, I can barely run to the mailbox. So that's pretty cool that Kim did that. I've written 9 books, but 55, that's a lot. So, I started realizing that was something special and that I could really help people get their message out there. And that's when it all started to click. And I wanted to make sure I had enough experience to really guide people and help people. So it wasn't until I'd had about 250 speaking engagements that I actually started the business.
Beautiful. Thanks, Leisa. And Janaki, what about you? How did this transform for you?
Oh, yes. So, as I was sharing, one of my addictions used to be shame. And when I discovered, and I went to Sedona last year, I was with my mom giving her a sound bath in the bathtub, and light language was coming through, and her ankle healed through our connection and her restoration within her body. And then all of a sudden I looked at my mom and I said, Mom, in this moment, I love you so much, infinity and beyond. And she goes, my love for you is a tiny spark inside my heart. And so I said, now that I no longer shame myself for being messy or hide behind my mess or strive for perfection, I no longer shame myself through your eyes. And that's where she looked at me and with such purity and love, and she says, I've never seen you in that way. I've only seen you in the purest form. And so I was able to restore my connection with my mother. And then my dad was reflecting about the Shakti and the Shiva energy of Shiva is God consciousness, Shakti is mother creation, and it was Shakti energy that woke up the Shiva, which is the masculine. So fast forward today, I facilitated at I Am My Mother's, well, a few months ago, I facilitated in May, I Am My Mother's Divine Love, and that's where I received the uploads and the downloads for this whole thing that I'm in creation of, that I'm launching soon, the Prosperous Portal. And it's the opening up the multidimensional ways of receiving. Well, I had no idea by saying this, what would I be calling in my life? So it was the adventure. I remember telling my husband, I said, I've discovered I can have it all and I've been settling. And I remember telling him, I'm like, yeah, we have such a great relationship. I love you. You're an amazing father. We have an amazing connection. Let's get a divorce. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And so I've discovered that we had a lot of, in our safe, a lot of complacency. And so I was seeing like safe is more of a stepping stone and there's more to it. So I was like, well, it's actually secure, and secure, we see the cure. And then it's also sovereign. So that's what I see as a sacred structure. So what I got to witness in my own life are the false structures of security and codependency crumbled. And my worlds collided and got turned upside down and shifted because, like I said, my husband almost died. And I kept reminding myself, well, you asked for this. You said you want the adventure. You're done with this complacency. You called this in. I kept reminding myself of this. And then about a couple months ago, the message I received, because they recently cut off his big toe, which is the divine will on the right foot, the masculine. And so as I'm standing in water, I heard the message that it's time to root into my power. And for me to do that, the men will rise, the masculine energy within. It's for the feminine, the spirit within our being to root into our power. And so I facilitate a Sounds of Soul retreat. And I thought it was for all the women. I'm like, okay, it's for the Phoenix sisters of the Rainbow Tribe, and it's going to take a leap of faith. We're rooting in our power because that's what it takes for the masculine men to rise. Well, again, I receive a lot of messages through water. Water told me I'm taking this trip by myself. And this women retreat that I facilitate is all for me. So I went to Guatemala recently, hopped on an airplane as soon as I received the message, bought my plane ticket. And it's so funny because I sing a song that says, Earth is your playground, but yet I wasn't playing in my playground of Earth. And I was only in like confined in areas. And I'm like, when I was in Guatemala singing that, it felt so different in my body. I'm like, Earth truly is my playground. I'm in the mountains. I'm in the belly button of Divine Mother. And so when I came back, again, it was such a quantum time jump because I took that leap of faith. I took the actions. I listened to my inner authority and I took those steps. My home was locked. I was locked out of my own home and I couldn't get back in. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a metaphor. I like basically I heard time to leave your husband. Like I had a lot of fear based in our relationship of losing him. And so I had made up a story that I can no longer expand with being with him and we're holding each other back. And so I completely surrendered him. This is recently, this is on my birthday. The day before my birthday, I made the decision. And on the morning of my birthday, I said, okay, your 44th birthday, you're going to divorce your husband. And like, I was so scared and so afraid. I'm like, oh my God. And I made that decision with me internally. And I said, it's time to choose me. And again, in water, I was taking a bath and I heard, the more you choose yourself and the more you say yes to your sovereignty, the more you feel received. And then all of a sudden it was this codes that unlocked. And I'm like, that's what unlocks humanity. It's not about changing or fixing or making better. It's that. So basically, it shifted our whole relationship. Now our spark has ignited, and that's what I've discovered. That's what's the strength within our relationship is me choosing me and being willing to fully surrender and let go of him. And by doing that, he's choosing to stay.
So, so as we know, Denise can't step in virtually or like visually, but she's still here and she's still listening. And she said, it always amazes me how when we come back to our self-awareness and see ourselves, how the universe gently and sometimes chaotically leads us through unveiling our true self journey. Each of us is the power of self-realization. And so, so how true is that for you? Who wants to share first? So, Sallyann or Leisa, Sharon, Kim.
Yeah.
So just tie into what Denise said.
Sorry. Yeah. Self-realization. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's sort of like, you know, we've had some beautiful sharing here. It's sort of like we've all had the most incredible journeys that have brought us to very pivotal points. And I suppose, yeah, self-realization, just realizing who we truly are beyond that conditioning and beyond the stories, beyond the limiting beliefs, and we, you know, beyond the stories we tell ourselves, because all through our life we tell ourselves stories, other people tell us stories, we stay in these boxes so we don't rock the boat. So self-realization, I'm way more than this. I'm far more capable of this. I have these connections. I'm not alone. I am fully connected. I can rely on myself. I'm way more powerful than I realize. I have the resources within me. And a great thing that has really helped me is going within the heart, and it's through the heart portal that we connect to our soul. And so going into the heart and spending quiet time and really grounding there and really connecting in that spot of the heart, breathing in and out of the heart, breathing love into the heart, filling yourself with love, and just stopping and thinking how far we have come. You know, I find that so helpful because people beat themselves up. And if you think back to your life and how far you've come, and just stop, go into the heart and appreciate yourself for who you are and all you've achieved. And doing that, we realize that we are far more capable, far more connected than we could ever possibly imagine. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sallyann. What about you, Leisa? I saw you nodding a lot during what Sally was sharing.
Yeah, just beautiful. Love being around everyone's energy today. And in terms of Denise's comment about how the universe gently and sometimes chaotically leads us through unveiling our true self journey, I would say I had a really big wake up call in 2008-9, and had an opportunity to wake up, and I would say it was definitely chaotic. I don't know if it was gentle, but it was certainly powerful. And I had a big shift, financially, romantically, ended a marriage, and which meant ending business opportunities and everything. It felt like everything just got burned to the ground. That's how, metaphorically speaking, that didn't actually happen, but metaphorically it felt like that. But then I was able to rise from the ashes. I was able to rise and go, okay, whatever I thought was working, there were some things that need to be reevaluated. And I knew that I wanted to be in a relationship again, but I didn't want to be blind to the habits that I had either created unconsciously, and how could I move forward in a more aware way. So I started taking workshops at a personal development company. And I mean, ironic that I got divorced due to communication, because I have a bachelor's and master's degree in speech communication, but you know, what are you going to do? And love the way the world plays tricks on us. And so I started to really look deeply into the patterns that I brought to the table, and shifting my awareness so that I could come into a new relationship with radical honesty, and be my best self, and not apologize or hide who I was, or accommodate when not necessary. And was able to just completely rebuild, found the love of my life, and fell in love with a new business as well. So that's my answer to that question.
Beautiful. I love that. And I think that ties really well with some of the things that you've already shared, Sharon, about having that being, once you were able to find your own self, of being able to find that true and honest relationship that you're able to connect with. But it's not until we actually have that connection with who we are truly first, before we can actually go in that way. And one of the things that I share often with clients is that we need to first love ourselves. And if we can't love ourselves, then how are we going to expect anyone else to be able to love us in the way that we really truly deserve to be loved? And so, like, if we can't love ourselves in that same way, so what about you, Sharon? How does that, how does this all kind of tie in to
Yes.
your experiences?
Yes. So what I want to say is, what the true wake up call for me is when I really started to acknowledge the different things in my life that were not feeling fulfilled or things that really made me unhappy. And many times we ignore those signals because no, this is where I'm supposed to be. These are all the shoulds. This is just it. This is just how it is. It's supposed to be hard. And I remember just being there. But when I started to acknowledge, okay, I'm really not happy here. It's kind of like that quote by Gay Hendricks says, where he strives to be moved by the touch of a feather. Well, I ignored the feather. I ignored the shove. I had to get hit by a ton of bricks before I actually said, "Oh, you're at my spirit's actually talking to me here." And when I finally listened, then I allowed myself to ask myself the question, what do I really want? What would I love in my life? And when I gave myself permission to ask that question, that's when I really started to connect to myself and what I would really love in my life. And I truly believe that anything that you have a desire in your heart, I truly believe it's divine inspired. And when it's divine inspired, it's already done. The abundance is already there. I just don't know how to access it yet. And my job is to just raise my awareness and be on that journey to be able to eventually ascend so I can access all that abundance and reconnect with myself. And that would be my authentic self. So once you start asking yourself and acknowledge that you're not really happy with whatever that situation is, and then ask yourself that next question, well, what would I love? Give yourself permission to ask that, and then dream it, and then lean into it, and then be it until it's actually here in your physical. So that's been how how I live my life. So
Beautiful. I really love that, Sharon. And I really love how us and these have been the conversations that we've been having, is about how we kind of step into we have this thing, this aha moment, this thing. And I don't know about you guys, but I've had many aha moments that I just kind of went like, oh yeah, I would kind of like that. And then I kind of steered off on another path. Until I finally said, like, no, like, this is it. This is where we're supposed to be. And this is where I'm supposed to go. And so for me, it was like that smash on the forehead of, I worked mental health. I worked addiction and mental health for many years. I was diagnosed with anxiety from the age of 6, had a lot of trauma in my life, as a child and as an adult. And so, and it was kind of like always these things, and I knew all the things that I needed to do. I taught all the things that I needed to do. And it wasn't until, I had my third strike though. So that straw that broke the camel's back. And it was like, okay, so I'm completely at my breaking point. I can't do anything any further. I can't move ahead. And it was like, okay, I need to step in and I need to get some support for myself. And I had received support and done support throughout the years, but that was my biggest aha, was when I had gone into the doctor and said, okay, I know that I need some time for myself and I need to figure out where it is that I'm going and what it is that I'm doing. But and then so he was like, okay, so you're no longer able to work for 3 months. And then when you have that opportunity, or so then in 3 months, we'll come back and we'll reevaluate your work and you continue to work on yourself. When I went back, I'm like, okay, I know I'm not ready to work full time. I know that I'm not ready to jump in, but I'm good to work for part time. And he said, nope. You're not quite where you need to be. And that bursted my entire bubble and that whole identity of who I was. And it was like, okay, now how am I supposed to do this now? And so then I took that next 3 months, worked on myself. And when I went back after that 6-month period and said, okay, yeah, I've done a lot of work and I've done all these different things, but I'm not ready to go back to work. I now am at a place where I can really hone in on what it is that I need and how I'm going to be able to do this. And that was 10 years ago when I started my business. So when I went back the 3 months later, it was like, okay, yeah, I'm good to go back to work, but I'm taking the rest of the summer off and I'm starting my own business. And so like, that is how and I'm still in mental health. I still work with that. But it really does have that impact. So what about you, Kim? Like where is that aha? Where's that connection, or where's that kind of tying into what everyone has shared?
I love what you just shared. Thank you for sharing that. That was amazing. I think there's been many ahas in my life. I just had to be awake to be aware of it and listen to it. Most recently, though, the biggest ahas have been people are reconnecting with me from my childhood. And the ahas that are coming are my stories in seventh grade are different than my friend in seventh grade who's reconnected with me, and my teacher who has reconnected with me, who is now my client, which is really wild. And yeah, and part of that is, I don't know what the word is, but it is that I am learning and seeing, because he sees my brilliance, and I don't call myself brilliant, right? He calls me that, and I see a whole different story of my life. So it's been the awareness of that. I'm very much a thinker and logical, and I know that we do. I just from my studies, we have two different brains, and we're just not hooked into the conscious brain. We're hooked into the animal brain, if we want to call it that, right? And I'm really becoming, I have to learn that way. It's just who I am. So it just takes me that process. And because of that, it's a practical approach for me. And the last year has been reconnecting with my friend. And every time I do, I just was with her this week, and she gives me these golden gifts, and I give her things in return, and I don't even realize. It's like there's no realization in it. It's just such a beautiful thing, and we help each other spiritually, and it's just great. So it's just, I think every moment it's just listening to hear, and being willing to, or open to receive it, and always having those times of pause, right? Or those times of quiet to listen.
Yes, absolutely. And it is so important for us to be able to be in that space and in that quiet. And so one of the things that that I do often, and more so now that I have my grandchildren, is being able to kind of reflect back on my younger self. Right. So I see my son with his children, and his son, who is so much like his dad, that it's like this whole recreation of, and that particular son, I have two boys, and that particular son, I always look at him as my, he's always been my teacher. And so being able to watch that part of things, and kind of going into what Janicki said about like being able to release that shame, is that reminder of like, I did the best that I could with the tools that I had at the time that I had them. But my tools that I had have helped my son parent differently than the way that I was parented, and so on and so forth. And so, and being able to and getting excited about like what it's going to be like when my grandson has his child and he gets to move through. And so we've got these layers of generations, where we came from generations where we're constantly layering all this dysfunction and things that we had that were not in the best interest, in our best interest at the time. And so, but being able to like bring that forward into the next and the future generations is absolutely incredible. So like, I really love how Kim, you've actually been able to rekindle with this teacher from your childhood that gets to remind you of all the things that you're so blessed, and all the things that you have been able to do, and your experiences that have actually made you so blessed to be able to be in this position of being able to help somebody who was your teacher, and that you now get to be that teacher. So I love that generational, even though like it's not in that same context, but it's that same being able to help somebody move forward from the experiences that we actually had. And that's absolutely beautiful. And so does anybody else have anything else that they think is like really, really incredible or really important for us to be able to like put out there to the people who are listening, of like, just listen, right? So like, that's one of the things that I've heard, is that it's like, we don't always just listen to that message that's there. We just kind of bypass it. So is there anything that any words of wisdom before we get into the sound with Janicki, that we can actually do that? So Janicki, you wanted to share?
Yes, this is what I pronounce Joy, Sallyann. Is it Sallyann?
Sallyann.
Is that Sallyann? Okay, beautiful. What she was sharing about, it really is coming back to our heart, and that's what I found is a sacred structure. That's where our true structures lie is within. And that came through one time through an I am journey of I am courage. And all of a sudden I started channeling about the lion, Wizard of Oz, traveling along the yellow brick road. And that was the divine will, which is of course our inner authority, because the anger appears when it's in misuse of will, and in will and full alignment is power, wisdom, and love. And so when we come back to our heart, the message I received about the Emerald City, which is funny, I'm actually wearing my heart chakra shirt, is when we come back to our heart, this is where the seeking ceases. And every time we're in the getting, we forget who we are, because we're in that, instead of being fully in our presence of now, we're trying to get to that next place versus where we are in our journey now. And so that's the message I got to receive through that experience, is the lion remembered he was already courage. The thing he was seeking, he already was when he returned to the Emerald City. And so that's where my seeking ceased. And I remember having so much grace and love fulfilling in my body. I was like, wow, this feels so great. Because I was always waiting for things and seeking for things. And every now and then I forget, and then I realign. So it really is coming back to our heart. It really is coming back and listening to our inner authority of our heart. Our GPS, what I say, is God provides support.
I love that. And Sallyann?
What just came to mind for me, and yeah, thank you for that, Jennieke. Yeah, I totally agree with you. What just came to mind for me, somebody said to me quite a long time ago, think of the moments of grace in your life. Like, think of all the times in your life where there's been some sort of support, some sort of intervention. And I started a list, and my list is never ending. All the chance meetings where you've got some support, all the interventions, just synchronicities that have happened. It's sometimes when somebody stepped in and has got your back. And I find that really helpful. So just as a tip for people, when you're feeling alone or when you're feeling unsupported and you're feeling battered by life, just start and make a list and keep adding to it the moments of grace in your life when you have got support, when there's been circumstances that have been set up to your benefit that have really helped you. Because I think that can be really, really helpful to help us to understand that we're not alone and we're always supported there. And even in our darkest times, like, I'm sure we've all had them. It's not easy doing the human journey. We've all had challenging times in our life, but out of those can come so much growth, wisdom, and healing. And look at the grace that's interwoven through those and the support we receive. And I found that personally very helpful to look at it from that point of view, as well as being in the heart and dropping into the heart as much as possible and just breathing love into the heart. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks, Sallyann. I want to make sure that we stay mindful of time. So, but I see you nodding a lot, Sharon. So like, what do you want to add to that?
It's just really leaning into the fact that what dropped down was that knowing that you're abundant, just period. That's just it. That's the truth with a capital T. And we always forget that in the human journey. And I remember asking one of my mentors, I said, can I just not, how do I perfect being in that expansive energy all the time? And the answer was, well, you have to embrace the wobble, embrace the journey, because it's with the journey, that's how you grow. And then you can really appreciate it when you actually get into and come into your abundance. So it's when you have that nudge to lean into something that you would love to do or be, lean into it, even though if it's scary and even if it's uncomfortable, because that's where your growth happens. If you are feeling comfortable in whatever you're doing, then you're staying in a position that hasn't been serving you this whole time, and it's not your true authentic self. So lean into it, and especially if it's scary, because that means you're growing and growing into yourself. And yes, when we've all had our journey and things like what Denise said, where things are chaotic, or what Leisa said, when things fell apart, things have to fall apart for you to have your new vessel, your new life that's coming into play. So whatever is no longer serving you is going to go away. And it feels scary at the time, but lean into it and stand in that, knowing that you are more powerful than whatever circumstance you're in, just like Sallyann said. And just stand there and know it.
I love that. I love that. So that kind of really leads into like being able to, again, being mindful of time so that we can kind of get, have that opportunity to be able to wrap up and be able to move into that sound with Janaki, is that, two of the things that I've heard so far. So, I've heard lots of things so far, but I mean, just in like little, a bite-sized nugget, and I'm going to invite Leisa, Kim, and Janaki to be able to give like a bite-sized nugget as well, because what I heard from, Sallyann is moments of grace. Sharon is you're abundant. Leisa, what kind of like bite of nugget can you actually share?
Well, of course, I'm going to see things from the speaker perspective. And one of the things that I support people with is literally taking a stand and putting your stake in the ground. Like, this is what I stand for. And I am so passionate about this and believe it so much. I want to share it with as many people as possible. But first, we do need to take a stand and really accept that we have brilliance and that we are willing to share it.
Beautiful. Thanks. What about you, Kim?
You know, our core values, a lot of times we think that they're stationary and it's just what it is, but they change all the time. So just be okay with being in the mess, being messy, right? But being awake to it and listening to hear and just standing in your power and doing it quietly and silently and pausing.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you. Janaki, what about you?
Yes, building on what Sharon was saying, when I did experience my world's falling to pieces, I heard, my world's falling to pieces. And in that moment, I heard, while one world dissolves, a new one is being built. So it's the power of let go, power of surrender, and allowing the divine temple to be built on the sacred structure of our sovereignty.
Beautiful. And one of the things, like for me, is being able to take what you need and leave the rest. Because that is just so powerful. Like we've all had like these little nuggets and all these experiences, and what works for one person isn't necessarily going to work 100% for the other person. So being able to like take what you need and leave the rest. And Denise says, in the discomfort, we have the opportunity to align. Thank you for your magic and so many nuggets. And so thank you so much, Denise, for still being part of holding space with us during this evening. And so we'll kind of turn the floor over to Janaki to kind of lead us into some sound, and then we'll have a brief moment to be able to share something that you are offering in this in the next upcoming little bit, or something that for people to look forward to. So we'll start with Janaki.
Okay, so I'm going to take it a quantum and do in a few minutes. So we'll see what comes through in these few minutes to honor our structure of Father Time. So first, I invite you to connect with your heartbeat. Feel the heartbeat of Mama Gaia. Feel your heartbeat and her heartbeat beat as one. And imagine roots growing from the base of your spine all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down into the core of the earth, allowing yourself to release and receive the wisdom, whatever you're ready to release, and allowing Mama Gaia to transmute and receive. I invite you to ask your heart, what is most precious? What is most valuable for me to receive right now? Surya takarya shani kirya karya shurya takarya shai. Sundalakya takarya shayata kirya karya shayata kai. Repeat it now and feel your words in your body. Feel where this lands in your body. Feel the frequency, the vibration of every word spoken that you are calling into manifestation now. Feel this in your body. And remember to simply say thank you. Thank you solidifies that we've already received. It's the energy that brings forth what we are calling into manifestation. So you remember the capacity of your receiving is the capacity of your giving. Give yourself permission per your mission to rest in sacred reciprocity, to swim in the sea of life-giving, fulfilling, infinite possibilities of sacred reciprocity in your full authenticity with curiosity and generosity. Giving yourself permission per your mission to fill your cup, fill your vessel back up. Reciprocity, reciprocity, I rest, I rest, I rest while God does God's best. Reciprocity, reciprocity, I rest in prosperity, I rest in prosperity. Reciprocity, reciprocity, only God I see. Only God is me. Feeling yourself, allowing your vessel to fill back up with the ever-flowing essence of pure crystalline energy. Imagining a light flowing from the top of your head all the way down, from the crown of your head, the back of your head, through all of your facial muscles, the inner and outer ear, the right side of your neck, the left side of your neck, your throat, your shoulders, down your arms into your hands as you imagine your hands filling with the luminous sun, the light that you shine within. And as you inhale, breathing this luminous golden energy back through your arms into your heart, allowing your heart to speak, asking your heart, let your GPS guide you, shine your light inside you. God provides support. There's nothing to be done, 'cause we're already one. We're here to have fun. We're here to have fun, 'cause Earth is our playground. Earth is our playground. Earth is our playground. We're here to have fun. We're here to have fun. It's already done. We're already one. Let your GPS guide you, shine your light inside you. God provides support. Feeling your light through the rest of your body, through the back of your body, swirling energy down through your spine, imagining the softness of honey, the consistency of honey flowing every single vertebrae all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, swirling around into your abdomen, your upper abdomen, into your center of your being, the divine will, your divine will that guides you. When we listen to our inner authority of our divine will, this is where we author our life, where we remember we are the director and the creator and the writer and the actor of our life. Being the author of your life. What stories are you now rewriting for yourself? In full alignment of power, wisdom, and love, power, wisdom, and love, power, wisdom, and love. Allowing your divine will to guide you. Allow your divine will to guide you. May my divine will guide me in every day, in every way, in the words I say. Divine will guide me in my sovereignty, in my sovereignty. Feeling your energy all the way down into your hips as you remember you're moving forward into your greatness, into your legs, your knees, your shins, your calves, your feet. Feel your energy, the luminous body, everything light up, light up, light up. And imagine your whole body lighting up, lighting up. Now imagine your whole body is one sensory perception, and then let it go. Allowing your whole body to dissolve into the space of nothing, into the darkness. In the nothing, everything exists. The birth of pure consciousness. In the nothing, everything exists. The birth of pure consciousness. Where everything and nothing, everything and nothing, everything and nothing, everything and nothing simultaneously is one. You're the microcosmic, the macrocosmic, the microcosmic, the macrocosmic, the microcosmic, the macrocosmic, the microcosmic, the macrocosmic. Everything and nothing simultaneously is one. The infinite source of creation that flows through you now. Now allowing yourself to root deep, root deep, root deep. Everything that you have pulled from the ether, bring it into your body, root it in, root it in. Feel this land in your body, shifting all the cells in your body into the remembrance of your truth. As below, so above, as below, so above, we're rooted in a sovereign love, love, love. Rooted in a sovereign love, love, love. Feeling yourself being rooted in your sovereign love. What is it that you're rooting in? As you remember, you're the author of your life. Your unconscious mind integrates with your conscious mind, bringing now into your new conscious awareness. Your unconscious mind integrates with your conscious mind, bringing now into your new conscious awareness. Connections, connections, connections. You're making neurological connections at the unconscious mind, bringing now into your new conscious awareness, bringing now into your new conscious awareness. You are the divine connections. You are the divine connections. Everything you desire, everything you require, you already have, you already have, you already have. Now remember, remember, remember. Every time one remembers, you come back into the wholeness and fullness of who you are. You amplify your soul blueprint. Remember, 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 remember. Everything you desire, everything you require, you already have right now. As I count down from 3, feel your body integrate into this. Feel awaken on a new cellular memory. 2, feel your energy vibrant and alive, reshifting in your DNA. And 1, open your eyes, fully alive, fully awake, fully alive, fully awake right now.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And maintaining being mindful of the time. We are 1 minute away of our top of the hour. So I just want to remind everyone, Soulful You has, Sacred You, I should say, has amazing programming. And so if you come and join us in the playground of this beautiful space. And so Sacred You, you with a U dot love and /free, and you can come and join us for free. And yeah, so thank you so much, Sophia, for being here and allowing us to be in this space. And for we were going to try and take an opportunity to be able to share something that everyone has to offer, but we do not have time. So somewhere in the description of wherever it is that you're listening to this or watching this is all the links of our beautiful ladies. Go and check them out and see what they have to offer. And yeah, so I'm going to turn it over to you, Sophia. And thank you so much, ladies.
All right, and thank you, Rollie. And you have already wrapped up, so I just want to thank you for running a wonderful wisdom circle. I really want to thank Sharon and Sallyann and everyone else who's joined us, and Denise, who unfortunately had tech issues but still stayed. Janicky, that was amazing. For anyone who is listening, Janicky is the host of our Sounds of the Soul Tribe, and you can come and listen to her on a weekly basis as part of our membership. You can join us for free, as Rollie said, but it's sacredyou.love/join free, and we go live into the village, or you can come and join us in our community membership and experience it online, but in person. And it is incredible. That is every week. So do come and check that out. And I want to thank Sharon and Leisa and everyone. I've already thanked you. And for anyone who is watching, just click on the links below. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sophia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Janicky, that was wonderful.